Welcome in the sewing room. I'm so glad y'all are here. If you're new, my name is Lynne, and I love to sew, and I love to play with fabric, and I love to buy fabric, and I love to do just create anything. And if you've been here before, welcome back. I'm so glad you decided to come back and join me. I was at the fabric store. Yes, I was. And they had the cutest little thing. It was a little pin cushion you could pin on yourself. And I think someone probably local had made them. But they were $10. And that's not a lot of money. No, it is not. But I thought I can make that. As I'm sure a lot of people that come through this quilt shop probably go, I can make that. And I've got everything at home I need to make that. And it was just cute as it could be. It looked like a little pumpkin or a little flower or what have you. So I came home and went in my scraps. Yes, I did. And I cut me out 2 3-inch circles. And that's about the size that this little pincushion was. You might could have made it. Let me see how my centimeters go over here. You might could make it 3.5 inches or so. But actually, I just had a circle that I just laid down and cut around and went, that looks good to me. So this one might be a little small. But what we're going to do is we cut our 2 little circles right here. And I'm going to take these to the machine and I'm going to stitch 1/4 inch in all the way around. And I'm going to use a small stitch length so that it'll turn pretty because it's such a small circle. And I'm going to stitch around there and leave me a little hole so I can turn it and I can stuff it. Okay? So I'm going to go stitch around this and then I'll come right back to you. All right, I went over there and I sewed that. Excuse me. Let me grab me a drink. And then I trimmed it with my pinking shears. And that kind of notches your seam, okay? If you trim it in real close with your pinking shears. I don't know if you can even see my seam because I can hardly see it. But I trimmed it in real close. And since it's small, it's going to be hard to get your fingers in there. I like to take a pair of tweezers. It's one of those things that everybody needs in their sewing room. Come in there, stick that right in there, and then just start pulling it through. It's so much easier to get with the tweezers than it is with your fingers. And then you just flip it right like that. Then I'm going to take my little turning tool here. You can use your finger. You could use your tweezers. Do not use your scissors because you're liable to poke a hole in it, and we don't want a hole in our pin cushion. And then I'm going to press it. Okay? And then I'm going to stuff it. Then I'm going to turn this in just like this and stitch it. All right? So let me press it and get my stuffing out. Okay, I pressed it. This one is going to be kind of small. So I'm really thinking that before I stuff this, I'm going to cut me a 4 or a 4.5 because the time you stuff it, it's going to make it even smaller around. Okay? So I think we're going to drop back and punt because, you know, we do that a lot. And we'll see if I've got some scraps here. And I think I do, that I could possibly cut. This is from that dress that we made. So, let's see. I'll just use this. Because these were 5-inch squares. You know, actually, those would be good to use. And we'll see if we can't cut. I'm just trying to cut this seam off of here. All right. Now then, let's see how big a circle we can cut. Yeah, we can get those 2. Let's do these two right here. So let's see how big that is. That's not a whole lot bigger. Let me keep finding me a circle. I'll be right back. Okay, we're going to drop back and punt. These are two 5-inch squares that I folded in half and pressed so that they would be very tight right there. Okay, bring y'all over here and set you down. And I cut me out a 4-inch circle. That means it's about 4.5 inches. When it's finished, it'll be 4 inches. So from this point to this point. Okay, so now then I'm going to take my heat erasable pen. And if you've got it turned on the back side, that's fine too. You don't have to use a heat erasable. And this one really is your cutting line, so it's not going to show either. But then I'm going to cut this out. Right like this. These are some fabrics that were gifted to me. And I just love them. Love, love, love them. Okay, now our circle's bigger. And I think it finished, it will be a better size. Okay? All right, we're going to put them pretty sides together. Right sides together, print side together, pretty side together. However you want to say it, but they need to go right sides together. And that means your pretty part. Pretty side, your bright side, your whatever you want to call it. And we're going to take this over to the machine, and I'm using about a 1.6 inch stitch, 1.5, something like that, stitch length, so that they're close together, so that when it's finished, it'll be a pretty circle, and it won't have like little things on it, okay? So, and I'm going to leave me a space right here. And if you want to remember to do that, you put you a line right here, and you put you a line right here, and you start right here, and you sew all the way around to right here, okay? And you can put you some X's in there, or whatever your little heart desires, or just nothing at all if you want to. But this gives you a visual to remember to stop right there, and you're going to start right here, okay? All right, now I'm going to take my pinking shears, and I'm just going to clip this real close in there so that it gives it the room. This is a good way to do this, because see, it's cutting out some of that bulk. So when you turn in your circle, it will have cut it out, the little notches. It also kind of keeps it from raveling a little bit and all that good stuff. All right, now then we're going to turn it. And like I showed you a minute ago, I like to take my tweezers, come in here like this, and just get a hold of it and pull it through. Makes it so much easier and less work on your poor little fingers. And we're going to take this, not your scissors, because we all know that they poke a hole. And you just want to come around through there and make all that pretty. Now look at that. Isn't that a pretty circle? Except for where we got to turn it under. All right, I'm going to take it over here and press it. And then I'll bring it back and we'll get to stuffing. Okay, I've pressed this. And I pressed it to the inside here, because that we need it to be inside. And see, it's just a straight line, but it'll be fine. Now we're going to take our stuffing, and you want to use little pieces of stuffing, because, you know, you want to be able to stuff it smooth, but you need to stuff it firm. And then take you a chopstick or the stick that comes in your stuffing, not your scissors, but something like that. And you just want to stuff this. And like I said, you want it to be stuffed firm. You want it to be very firm, because we want it to be able to hold our pins. Because after all, it's a pincushion. And these are also a good item to make and sell at craft fairs. because anything that's less than $20 is what you need to be focusing on to sell at craft fairs, flea markets, um, farmers markets, that kind of thing, festivals, because people will normally spend a little bit, but not a lot of people have a lot to spend. And everybody wants to buy something. They want to come away with something. So you don't want to, you would rather make small things and sell a whole lot of little things than nothing of big things. Does that make sense? I hope it does, because I'm just trying to figure it out myself. And then the other thing we need is a button and some embroidery floss or some heavy duty thread or something like that to make our flower petals or pumpkin things or whatever. If you're making it orange and making a pumpkin, or if you're going to be like me and make it pink and make a flower. Okay. I'll put just a little bit more in there, and then I'm going to sew this up real quick with my fingers. Y'all know I don't like to do finger work, but I'm going to sew it with my fingers. If you were batch sewing these, you could get them all sewn together and pressed, and then stuff them while you're watching television and finish them up while you're watching TV. And you could get a whole bunch of these done in just, no time flat. Like I said, you want to stuff it very firm. So I just keep stuffing as long as I can get stuffing in there. I keep stuffing. This is more the right size too. That other one was going to be too small because you can see how it puffs out. It puffs up, and so it does not the same as laying completely flat. So when I stuff it and I think I can't get any more stuffing in it, then I'll know it's stuffed. When I don't think I can put any more stuffing in it, and I think I'm about there. All right, let me grab a needle and thread and a button, and I'll be right back. Okay, there's my button. And this is the way that I like to sew up something like this. I like to come in here underneath, okay, and come up through right here, right there, so that it hides your knot. Then you can whip stitch it, but I like to just come in here. First, I'm going to try to get this right here poked back down in there. And I like to blind stitch it. I think is what they call this. Really not sure. But then you just kind of go back and you're just picking up the inside. Okay, you're not coming all the way through to the outside. And I do not know if you all can watch me do this or not. I'll try to show you right here. Just like this. And then you just come into the inside right there. Just get that one layer and pull it shut. You're just kind of like you're lacing. You want to make little stitches, okay? And then when it's done, you will not be able to see, you won't be able to see your stitches. So come in there just like that. And I've got my thread doubled and basically I'm just lacing this across. Do you see that? You do not see my stitches. It just looks like it's a seam. And it will pull together as you sew it. Just make sure you keep that poke down in there. All right, now then, you just come in here like this and tie it off. All right, now then, we're going to snip that off. There you go. See, you can hardly see it except for that one little spot where my stuffing's coming out. But that's okay, because after all, it's a pincushion. All right, now then, I have got this, it's called button thread. It's very thick. Can y'all see how thick that is? It's good thick thread. So that's what I'm going to use to do this. I don't even know if they still make button thread. They might call it upholstery thread or something else. I got me a pretty good long piece here, and you will need a needle with a larger eye because the thread is larger. Let's see if I can get the needle threaded. Oh, look at there. I did. All right, so I'm going to double this. And tie a knot in it. And we don't want our knot to show, so I'm going to show you where we're going to put our knot. All right, so now then, doesn't matter which is the right top or the bottom, but you want to find the middle, or as close to the middle as you can. And just hook it through there just like that and trim that off. All right, now then, we're going to start by sewing this button. And I'm just going to sew the button on without tufting it at this point. Oh, I was. Y'all, I didn't go back through my button. So we got to do this again. I do that all the time when I'm sewing on a button. All right, let's try this again. All right, y'all tell me, go back down through the button. I got to weave the button on. All right, now then. Now then. All right, now then we're going to go back down through here and we're going to go all the way through the middle. All the way through and try to come back up on the middle. My needle may not be long enough. May have to get me a longer needle. But you want to come up through the middle. All right, now then, this is how we're going to make it look like a flower or a pumpkin or whatever you want to call yours, okay? First off, we're going to get our thread untwisted. All right, now then, we're going to go right around the edge and do it right again, okay? Right down through here, right to the middle, and pull it. Then we're going to go straight across to the other side. Wait a minute, that's not going to work because it's going to show our threads, and we don't want that. We need to come up in here and then do our, all right, let's do it again. This is the first one of these I'm making, y'all. I'm kind of doing it on the fly with you. Okay? I'm going to get a longer needle, too, so I can go through the middle of it good. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, if we can keep Coco quiet. And I don't think we can. We're going opposite here. And you want to put this into about 8 sections. And you want to pull it real tight. If you can. Because you want it to come in. And we're going to tie this off. And we're going to start again. Okay? And we're going to do another piece and come in here and there. Okay? Then we'll sew our button on. And I'm using this beeswax to wrap my thread in because it keeps it from being tangled. You just run it through here 2 or 3 times. My mama always used beeswax on her thread. Always. I don't know if people just don't do that much anymore or what, but mama had 2 or 3 of these. And when they would get to where they were just falling apart in little pieces because the thread will cut it, she would take them, melt them down, and make her some new discs. She sure would. You just want to pull it through 2 or 3 times, just like that. Now then, let's get our needle back, see if we can thread it again. Oh, there went the lights. Let's hope our power stays on. All right, let's try this way. Because it's storming outside. Okay. Finally, mercy me. I probably should have used a needle thread, or I've probably got 2 or 3 around here somewhere. Okay, now then we're going to do this again, make our 4 more points, okay? And then we're going to sew our button on it. I'll be right back after I've done that. All right, now then, we've got it to here. And this is the side with all of our knots. Okay, this side is just going straight in that one hole. That's our pretty side. This is what I call our ugly side. This, most people would say, is the back. But no, it's going to be the front. Because all of that ugly, we're going to cover up with this button. just like this. Okay, see that? Then we'll come back up through here. And we're going to go all the way back down through the back. We're going to do this 2 or 3 times to get our buttons set on there good. And she's finished. The only thing I do not have, because I didn't stop and pick them up, that I'm going to get, are those little things that you make a pen out of. Okay? Y'all, I detest to sew on a button. I do. I don't know why, but I just do not like to sew on buttons. It's just one of those things that I do not like to do at all. And we'll come right back up through here one more time, and we'll tie it off up here. Okay? I think we will. I stuffed it really tight, and I can tell now that I did. Actually, I think I'll just tie it off back here, because it'll just be easier. All right. Trim your thread. There's your little pincushion. Now then, what I'm going to do right now, because I don't have one of those little pin backs, is I'm just going to take a safety pin and run it right through here. And then right on me, right like this, until I pick up a pin back. Just going to safety pin it. And then I'll pick me up a little pin back next time I'm out at Hobby Lobby or Michael's or somewhere that has jewelry making supplies. And there's our little pin cushion. Look at there. Oh, y'all are really close. Now you can see it. Look at our little pin cushion. And now we can stick our pins in it. When we're doing things, we just have to stick our pins right here, rather than stick them in our mouth, because that's a bad thing to do, because it's dangerous. You could swallow one, you could choke, this, that, or the other. But now we have our little pin cushion right here. As we're sewing, we just do this. Some people wear them on their wrist. You can make a little bracelet thing for yours if you want to, and put a little snap, or make it onto a scrunchie, whatever. But is that not the cutest little thing ever? These will sell like crazy at your craft fairs. They absolutely will, because people say, I'll just rather pay $10 and try to figure out how to make it. Which I didn't want to do that, but I know a lot of people that do. And they're sewists, and they can do it. They're quilters, sewing and quilters. And they could make this easy peasy, but they'll buy it because they don't want to take the time out of their other projects to do that. So isn't it cute? I love my little wooden button, and it's good and firm to hold all my pins. You can even make a bigger one, set it on your table. We always need a pin cushion, something to stuff pins in, or I am. So y'all go make you one. Cut you a circle, however big your little heart desires. Cut you 2 circles, sew them together, stuff them, and make you a pin cushion. How easy is that? That's just the easiest little pin cushion in the world to make. And mine looks more like a little flower and less like a pumpkin, because, you know, it's pink. I don't know many pink pumpkins unless you paint them. So this was a very short, quick video. Go make you a pin cushion. And like I said, I'm going to get me some little pin backs. And these are going in some gifts at Christmas. Yes, they are, because everybody can use a pin cushion. So I'm making some of these to add in with other gifts at Christmas time. I sure am. So go make you a pincushion. And I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.